As my heir, William now assumes the Scottish titles which have meant so much to me. He succeeds me as Duke of Cornwall.
When the most trusted royal speaks during the monarchy's most uncertain moment, is it just a ceremony or a message that changes everything? As King Charles battles cancer and Catherine steps back from public life, eyes turn to Princess Anne and what she may have revealed. Did she speak the king's final wish? How is Prince William coping with the emotional pressure? And what do past royal transitions tell us about the truth behind such moments? It was the quiet setting of Windsor that framed one of the most emotionally charged moments the royal family has faced in recent memory. On 22 March 2024, Princess Catherine sat calmly in a garden setting, surrounded by early spring blooms, and delivered a deeply personal message to the nation. Her voice steady but gentle, she revealed that she had been diagnosed with cancer and was undergoing preventative chemotherapy. The announcement, made through a recorded video shared by Kensington Palace, immediately captured global attention, not for its shock, but for the immense composure and grace with which she shared her news. Only weeks earlier, King Charles III had also revealed his own battle with cancer, disclosed officially by Buckingham Palace on 5 February 2024. These two events cast a somber tone over the royal household, shifting public focus from royal duties to royal health. The monarchy, often seen as a symbol of continuity, found itself facing questions of succession, stability, and what the future might hold. Within that delicate atmosphere, reports surfaced about a private gathering of senior royal family members at Windsor Castle, around the same time Catherine's announcement was released. While nothing from this meeting was confirmed officially, some commentators noted the unusual timing. In that context, attention turned once again to Princess Anne, a figure who has long stood apart for her steady, unshowy commitment to royal duty. Known formally as Princess Royal, Anne is often cited as one of the hardest-working members of the royal family. In 2023 alone, she attended over 400 public engagements, and her deep involvement with more than 300 charities reflects her lifelong commitment to service. But beyond public numbers, she holds a constitutional role that carries quiet influence. She is one of the counselors of state. This position allows her to act on the monarch's behalf if he is unable to perform his duties due to illness or absence. In this capacity, Anne has built a reputation for discretion and dependability. She rarely comments publicly on private family matters, and it is precisely this silence that has amplified her presence in recent weeks. Speculation spread rapidly following unverified press reports that Anne may have revealed one of the king's final wishes in private to Prince William. While no official record or confirmation of such a revelation exists, the story gained traction due to Anne's close bond with her brother and her long-standing involvement in royal protocol. To understand why such a rumor might carry weight, it helps to explore the reality of final wishes within the royal family. Unlike in ordinary families, where a final wish may be shared in a will or expressed verbally near the end of life, royal final wishes are often handled with a high degree of confidentiality. The monarchy is steeped in tradition and legal structures, and decisions related to succession or legacy are typically managed not through public statements, but via carefully orchestrated plans. When Prince Philip passed away in April 2021, the world learned that he had been directly involved in planning his own funeral. The details, such as his request for a military Land Rover to carry his coffin, were only made public after his death. Similarly, Queen Elizabeth II's funeral proceedings were guided by Operation London Bridge, a plan she had reportedly reviewed during her reign. Yet none of her final wishes were announced before her passing. In fact, the monarchy does not traditionally make public any such instructions unless they are tied to constitutional procedures or ceremonial protocol. This pattern has led many royal watchers to interpret Anne's potential comments, if they occurred at all, as symbolic rather than literal. She is known for her measured approach and typically avoids emotional displays. However, her presence in family milestones, her proximity to the king during his most recent appearances, and her trusted status within the royal structure all contribute to the idea that she could be a conduit for messages that need to be handled with sensitivity. Meanwhile, Prince William has increasingly stepped into a central role within the institution. As Prince of Wales, a title he received following the death of Queen Elizabeth II in September 2022, his responsibilities have expanded significantly. He has taken on ceremonial duties, represented the Crown at international engagements, and deepened his involvement in initiatives related to climate change, mental health, and homelessness. With Catherine beside him, his public image has evolved into that of a modern monarch in waiting. The timing of his wife's health disclosure added an emotional layer to his already demanding role. Though William has remained outwardly composed during public events since the announcement, observers have noted the visible tension in his expression, the gravity with which he has approached his duties, and the added weight on his shoulders. It is against this backdrop that the supposed emotional reaction, him breaking down at the mention of his father's final wish, has circulated, though there is no visual or official confirmation of such a moment. What is certain is that William has always shown deep loyalty to his family, particularly to his grandmother and father. During Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, his demeanor was marked by solemnity and control, but also a quiet grief that resonated with the public. He has spoken in past interviews about the challenges of preparing for kingship, and how personal loss and public responsibility often intersect in difficult ways. With King Charles now undergoing cancer treatment, and Catherine temporarily stepping back from royal duties, William's visibility has increased dramatically. He has maintained a steady presence, continuing with official commitments while managing private concerns. The possibility that Princess Anne shared some personal reflection from the king, even if not a formal final wish, is not far-fetched within this emotional context. It aligns with the royal tradition of quiet counsel, private guidance, and symbolic actions that speak louder than official declarations. As the family navigates this sensitive period, the public remains deeply invested, not just in what happens next, but in how the royal family responds to vulnerability, change, and the quiet dignity expected of the crown. And at the heart of it all is Prince William, balancing duty and personal grief in a moment that feels both historic and deeply human. The significance of Prince William's role within the royal family has grown steadily over the past decade, but it was after the passing of Queen Elizabeth II in September 2022 that this transformation became unmistakably clear. With the ascension of King Charles III to the throne, William immediately became the Prince of Wales, a title that comes with historic weight and practical expectations. It also placed Catherine in a new position as Princess of Wales, following in the footsteps of the late Princess Diana. This transition did not just mark a change in titles, but a realignment of public expectations and institutional responsibilities. Since then, William and Catherine have been increasingly visible, taking on high-profile engagements, championing causes, and serving as a symbol of continuity for the monarchy. Their work has spanned from local community visits to diplomatic representation abroad. Yet beneath the polished public image lies a deeper layer of emotional resilience, particularly visible in Catherine's handling of her growing public responsibilities. Catherine's journey into the royal family formally began on 29 April 2011, when she married William in a ceremony watched by millions around the world. That moment, though steeped in tradition, was only the beginning of her gradual integration into royal life. Her transition from a private citizen to one of the most visible women in the world was marked by grace, composure, and a quiet determination. Early on, she was often compared to Diana, but Catherine carved out a very different path, one grounded in consistency, personal privacy, and a deep sense of service. Over the years, she has taken on numerous patronages and launched impactful initiatives, especially around early childhood development and mental health. These efforts are not symbolic. They are rooted in a strong commitment to long-term social outcomes. Her project on early years development, launched under the Royal Foundation, highlighted her belief in addressing social challenges from their roots. Through surveys, school visits, and roundtable discussions, Catherine helped bring attention to the critical importance of the first 5 years of a child's life. Her work led to the establishment of the Royal Foundation Center for Early Childhood in 2021, placing this issue firmly in the national conversation. As Catherine's influence grew, she earned increasing respect not only from the public, but also from within the institution. In public speeches and appearances, Queen Elizabeth II occasionally acknowledged the dedication of younger royals, and though never explicitly stated, many royal commentators believed that Catherine had earned the monarch's personal confidence. While not confirmed by the palace, these insights have been referenced by multiple biographers who cite private conversations or accounts from royal aides. The Queen's admiration was inferred through consistent signs, such as the trust placed in Catherine during national events and the responsibilities given to her without hesitation. Importantly, Catherine never sought the spotlight. Her presence, though visible, has always remained measured. That approach appears to have aligned closely with the values of Queen Elizabeth II, who preferred quiet strength over grand gestures. Royal observers have noted that Catherine's discretion, particularly in navigating sensitive family matters, may have reminded the Queen of the enduring qualities that sustained the monarchy across decades of change. At the same time, Catherine's bond with Princess Anne began to receive attention. While different in personality and style, both women share a notable work ethic and a preference for substance over ceremony. Princess Anne, with her unmatched schedule of engagements and direct manner, is seen as a role model within the family. In recent years, Catherine and Anne have attended joint engagements and projects, suggesting a growing professional rapport. Their public appearances together are marked by mutual respect and a shared understanding of duty. This similarity in approach has led some royal watchers to speculate that Anne's support for Catherine may extend beyond what the public sees. During key transitions, such as Catherine becoming Princess of Wales, it was Anne who publicly emphasized the importance of preparing younger members for sustained service. While she never made direct remarks about Catherine, her comments in documentaries and interviews about the evolving pressures of royal life suggested she recognized the weight that Catherine now carries. Within the royal family, succession and future planning are rarely spoken about openly. Final wishes or internal decisions are kept private, often locked in verbal traditions or documented in sealed instructions. However, gestures and comments made at public events or during state ceremonies sometimes provide indirect clues. In this context, the idea that Queen Elizabeth II may have communicated her trust in Catherine privately gains meaning, not as a dramatic proclamation, but as part of the quiet institutional knowledge passed down through example and tone. Following the Queen's passing, the palace issued a range of changes in titles and roles. Catherine assumed a number of new patronages and leadership responsibilities, including becoming the patron of the Maternal Mental Health Alliance and expanding her work with the Early Years Initiative. These weren't just honorary positions, they reflected the monarchy's understanding of her credibility and long-term value. Amid these structural changes came a particularly challenging personal moment. Catherine's cancer diagnosis, announced in March 2024, was not only a shock to the public, but also a poignant reminder of the burdens faced by members of the royal family. In her video, she acknowledged the difficulty of undergoing treatment while managing parental and public responsibilities. The video was deeply human, a moment of rare vulnerability in the otherwise composed rhythm of royal life. This period also saw Catherine step back from public duties temporarily, while Prince William continued carrying out engagements. Observers noted how the balance shifted, with William appearing more introspective and focused, perhaps drawing on inner reserves of strength to navigate both his personal concerns and national responsibilities. During this time, Princess Anne's visibility also increased slightly, particularly at events that required a sense of continuity and protocol. While there has been no confirmation that Princess Anne delivered any message or final wish from the king during this time, the weight of shared family concern and public expectations added depth to every appearance. As with many royal transitions, meaning is often found in what is not said, in the order of appearances, in who accompanies whom, and in the tone of carefully chosen words. In the current moment, with King Charles III receiving treatment and Princess Catherine focusing on recovery, Prince William and Princess Anne remain central figures in maintaining continuity. Their roles may differ, but their collaboration speaks to the quiet strength that defines the monarchy in moments of uncertainty. Through it all, Catherine's influence continues to grow, not through proclamations or dramatic shifts, but through the quiet accumulation of trust, consistency, and the kind of leadership that endures over time. Princess Anne has long been one of the most quietly influential figures within the royal family. Often overshadowed in media coverage by her brothers or the younger royals, she has nevertheless earned deep respect for her unwavering sense of duty and work ethic. While other members of the family have embraced evolving public roles, Anne has maintained a consistent, almost unchanging approach to royal life, deliberate, understated, and tireless. Her service has rarely involved controversy, which is part of why she is frequently seen as one of the most dependable voices inside the royal institution. Born in 1950, Anne began public royal duties in her teens and has since been involved in more than 300 charitable organizations. For decades, she has routinely completed the highest number of annual royal engagements, a statistic confirmed through the court circular and royal household records. Year after year, she quietly performs visits, opens facilities, and supports causes without seeking public attention. This relentless pace has earned her a nickname from both the public and press as the hardest-working royal. What sets Anne apart, however, is not only the volume of her work, but the style in which she does it. Her manner is direct, her speech is brief, and her public demeanor almost always practical. She has often spoken about the importance of the work itself, rather than the recognition that may come with it. In interviews over the years, including one given during her 70th birthday reflections in 2020, she explained that royal duties were not about glamour, but about showing up and contributing to the institutions and causes that rely on royal patronage for visibility and credibility. This no-nonsense approach has created a unique dynamic between Anne and her siblings, especially King Charles III. While their personalities are different, their bond has been described as close. They shared childhood experiences shaped by duty and expectation, and over time, their professional roles within the monarchy have overlapped. Anne's presence at key ceremonial events, including her role in accompanying her mother's coffin during the funeral processions in Scotland and London in September 2022, demonstrated not only her seniority, but the personal trust placed in her. That trust is further underscored by her constitutional role as one of the monarch's counselors of state. Under the Regency Acts, these individuals are authorized to perform official duties if the monarch is ill or temporarily unable to carry them out. Anne was added to this list in 2022, a sign of confidence from King Charles III and the broader institution in her ability to act with discretion and judgment. She has, in many ways, become a cornerstone of the royal family's operational continuity. Given her senior position and long-standing service, Anne has been the subject of increased attention since King Charles's cancer diagnosis. With the King reducing public engagements and the Princess of Wales also stepping back for health-related reasons, Princess Anne's visibility has naturally increased. She has attended several ceremonial events and continued her full schedule of engagements, helping to reinforce the family's ongoing public presence during a time of uncertainty. In this context, it is not surprising that speculation has surrounded Anne's role in shaping or relaying messages within the royal family. The notion that she might have delivered the king's private reflections, or even a final wish, has circulated in recent media reports. However, it is important to note that there is no confirmed source or verified account supporting this claim. Neither Buckingham Palace nor Princess Anne herself has acknowledged any such disclosure. The idea remains speculative, based more on Anne's reputation as a trusted royal than on documented events. Nonetheless, it is possible to understand why such speculation emerged. In moments of transition or vulnerability within the monarchy, the public naturally looks to those figures who seem most stable and well-positioned to offer guidance. Anne's record and temperament fit that profile. If any informal conversations or private reflections were to be shared discreetly within the family, Anne would likely be a trusted figure to do so. Yet speculation alone should not be confused with fact. Responsible reporting must distinguish between what is rumored and what is confirmed, especially when dealing with personal matters inside the royal household. The monarchy operates within a culture of confidentiality. While public appearances and formal statements are documented, much of the internal communication happens behind closed doors. That is not unusual. It is a reflection of the institution's deep-rooted norms and its focus on stability. When final wishes or personal insights are shared within the family, they are rarely disclosed to the public unless they relate to ceremonial arrangements or constitutional matters. Even then, the information is typically released only after the individual's passing and through formal channels. There are historical precedents for this. For instance, when Prince Philip passed away in April 2021, it became known only after his death that he had been involved in many of the arrangements for his funeral, including selecting the military Land Rover that would carry his coffin. Similarly, Queen Victoria and King George VI left instructions regarding their burials and succession, but these were carried out discreetly and not shared with the public until well after the fact. This tradition underscores the monarchy's commitment to discretion and the preservation of legacy over momentary visibility. If King Charles has indeed shared private intentions regarding the future of the monarchy or personal reflections about his family, these are unlikely to be formally announced during his lifetime. Instead, they would shape internal decisions, ceremonial planning, or informal succession guidance passed to his heirs or close relatives. The key takeaway is this: while Princess Anne holds a position of unique trust within the family, and while her steady presence makes her a likely confidant for sensitive matters, there is no public evidence confirming she has revealed anything about the king's wishes. Her strength lies in her discretion, not in public statements. The monarchy depends on such figures to maintain continuity and trust during uncertain times. As the royal family continues to navigate the challenges of the present moment, Anne remains one of its most vital links between tradition and practical service. Her enduring commitment, quiet professionalism, and internal credibility ensure that she plays a central role, regardless of headlines or rumors. And as Prince William takes on more responsibility, it is within this framework of quiet support, not dramatic revelations, that the monarchy continues to evolve. As Princess Anne quietly continued her public service without engaging in the noise surrounding rumors and speculation, Prince William found himself under increasing pressure, both publicly and privately. Since the passing of Queen Elizabeth II in September 2022, the spotlight had gradually shifted in his direction, but the events of early 2024 had placed him squarely at the heart of the monarchy's forward motion. With King Charles III undergoing cancer treatment and Princess Catherine stepping back from royal duties due to her own health, William's responsibilities widened considerably. As the Prince of Wales, he was expected not only to represent the monarchy in public engagements, but to project strength and stability at a time when the institution was confronting uncertainty on multiple fronts. Yet, the weight of these duties came amid personal concern and emotional strain, a combination that has no precedent in modern royal history. Since taking on his new title, William had already shown an increased presence at state functions, diplomatic events, and charity engagements. He traveled to Belfast, Boston, and Warsaw representing the Crown, and has been leading key royal initiatives, particularly those under the Royal Foundation. These efforts have included the Homewards campaign on homelessness and the continuation of Heads Together, the mental health awareness movement he co-founded with Prince Harry and Princess Catherine. But in early 2024, as his wife received treatment and his father's diagnosis became public, the symbolism of his role took on deeper resonance. Public engagements that once followed familiar ceremonial routines now felt charged with emotional undertones. Photographs taken during walkabouts and visits in March and April captured a different tone, William appearing focused but solemn, his face reflecting the gravity of a man stepping deeper into a role he had spent his life preparing for. While there were no official statements regarding his state of mind, the visual cues and schedule adjustments spoke volumes. This moment also marked a shift in how observers and the public interpreted his position within the royal family. Although he has always been known to be deeply devoted to his wife and children, the dual challenges of his father's and wife's health made that commitment even more visible. His statements during public addresses carried a weight that came not from grand rhetoric, but from the visible burden he was carrying. His composure, while admirable, reflected the emotional labor often hidden behind ceremonial roles. Amid all this, one theme emerged clearly. William was no longer just heir to the throne. He was the central figure anchoring the present reality of the royal family. With the king's schedule reduced, and with Catherine absent from public appearances, William became the face of stability for the institution, maintaining public visibility, morale, and continuity. The transition, though gradual, was unmistakably underway. At a time when rumors began to swirl about internal royal discussions and the possibility of a final message from King Charles being shared within the family, William's position became even more symbolic. The public, often hungry for signs of direction, turned to William's actions and expressions for meaning. It was not about confirmation of any wish or directive. It was about interpretation, tone, presence. It's important to note that the monarchy has always functioned as much through symbols and actions as through formal announcements. A change in how engagements are distributed, a rebalancing of patronages, or even the presence of certain individuals at certain events can signal transitions. In recent months, William's role has evolved in precisely this way, through a buildup of responsibility rather than any single declaration. For example, he presided over the annual Commonwealth Day service, a role traditionally held by senior monarchs. He took meetings with senior political and defense leaders, signaling trust in his leadership and preparing him for the constitutional and diplomatic expectations of a future king. These developments do not point to a finalized plan or an explicit handover of duties, but instead show how the monarchy prepares its future leaders through lived experience and progressive responsibility. Privately, William's focus has remained on maintaining as much normalcy as possible for his children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. Sources close to the family have noted that he and Catherine have always prioritized shielding their children from unnecessary public exposure. Even as public figures, they are determined to maintain the rhythms of family life, continuing school runs and weekend routines. During this sensitive period, William's presence at school events and his visible role in family-related decisions have emphasized his role not only as a royal, but as a father navigating extraordinary challenges. In many ways, the events of 2024 have revealed the human dimension of royal life more clearly than ever before. While the monarchy is an institution shaped by centuries of tradition, it is also made up of individuals navigating real-life struggles. William's ability to remain steady, to speak thoughtfully, and to represent the crown without withdrawing from his family responsibilities has underscored the maturity of his leadership. Even as the public speculated on Anne's role, on Charles's condition, and on the quiet influence of past monarchs, it was William's demeanor that shaped the broader narrative. No headlines could capture the full weight of the moment, but his presence, his words, and his silence at key times did. And that, in many ways, was the most powerful statement of all. While Prince William continues to manage his expanding responsibilities during a time of uncertainty, the concept of a monarch's final wish remains rooted more in tradition than in public record. In British royal history, final wishes are almost never disclosed during a monarch's lifetime. Instead, they are typically reflected in ceremonial planning or quietly shared with close family members, surfacing only after the individual's passing. Historical examples reinforce this approach. Queen Victoria's funeral in 1901 followed instructions she left in private. She requested a military-style burial and was interred in a white dress with personal mementos, including items associated with John Brown. These intimate wishes were not made public until much later, revealed through official biographies and historical archives. King George VI followed a similar path. When he died in 1952, his funeral arrangements adhered strictly to royal protocol, with no publicly known personal messages or last requests revealed beforehand. Likewise, Prince Philip's funeral in April 2021 was based on a plan developed years earlier. His decision to be carried in a custom Land Rover only became known after his death, underlining the family's preference for privacy, even in matters of high public interest. This tradition provides context for present speculation surrounding King Charles III. Since his cancer diagnosis was publicly confirmed in February 2024, there has been increasing attention on the future of the monarchy. However, there is no verified information suggesting he has issued a final wish or statement about the future of the crown. In the United Kingdom, succession is determined by law, and Prince William, as the eldest son, is the unquestioned heir. Any emotional reflections the king might have shared would hold symbolic weight, but cannot alter the constitutional order. Princess Anne's role in this environment has drawn particular interest. Her long record of royal service, her role as Counselor of State, and her close relationship with King Charles make her a figure of trust within the institution. Yet there is no public confirmation that she has conveyed any personal message or final wish from the king. The speculation likely stems from Anne's public presence and her reputation for discretion, rather than any documented disclosure. Meanwhile, Prince William's steady public appearances and growing constitutional involvement demonstrate a transition that is already underway, not through declarations, but through responsibilities. His return to engagements following Princess Catherine's cancer announcement showed quiet resilience. Whether attending charitable events or hosting state visitors, his role has become one of both public visibility and private strength. This evolution reflects the broader strategy of the royal household, which has focused on a streamlined core of working royals. William and Catherine are at the center of this effort, offering a modern face to a historic institution. Their continued work and public trust reinforce the crown's relevance, particularly in a society that now demands both tradition and transparency. Ultimately, the strength of the monarchy lies in its ability to adapt while maintaining continuity. Whether or not a final message exists, the actions of Prince William and Princess Anne speak more loudly than any rumor. Their presence ensures that the institution remains grounded, quietly preparing for the future without stepping outside the customs that have long defined it. With that, we have reached the end of today's video. If you have come this far with us, be sure to check out other videos on the channel.